in this application that you're making for funding, what role does the sheep meat industry play in the weight of that application?
Look, in the current CRC, we've focused on measuring all aspects of meat quality and looking at that in the context of the genetics of the animal and the genomic, the DNA profile that is associated with each aspect of yield, saleable meat yield, and eating quality, because those are the two key determinants. One is of processing efficiency, production efficiency, that's your yield side. But if you don't have a quality that the consumer really appreciates and demands, your product is downgraded very, very quickly. In this current round of research, we've comprehensively defined the aspects of meat quality through to their biochemical, structural components, and their genetic base. So we really understand now that intramuscular fat, shear force, they really contribute a huge amount to eating quality, consumer satisfaction, but they're also really well linked to the genetics and the management system. So this gives us, again, that platform of confidence to go to the next step. And that is to take this new knowledge, this new ability, right the way through the supply chain. And in this extension application, which we've just submitted, we have got every component of that value chain, from the genetics. We've got ram breeders working with us. We've got the meat processors, individual supply chains that they have, right the way through to the major retailers. So we've got this link from the consumer through the value chain down to the genetics. And that's embedded by people really, and organisations really committed to making this work. And that's the first time it's ever happened in this red meat industry.
So is sheep meat part of the MSA's standard grading system at the moment?
An excellent question, and yes it is. Yeah. We're now moving effectively to cuts-based meat quality assessment and grading. And so you've done this in the cattle industry, and we've seen the success that it's produced. So this is now moving into the same area in sheep, going to cuts-based MSA grading. And that allows us both to guarantee quality in the lamb supply chain, the traditional lamb supply chain, but we can also use that same underpinning science basis to go beyond the traditional lamb. And there are two products there which are absolutely critical to Australian production system. One is lambs that fall outside the current specification in terms of weight, that is they're over the 25 kilograms weight cut-off. But we know that the quality doesn't dip off. In fact, the leanness of the product is very appealing from a processing point of view. The heavier carcass means lower processing costs. So that's the space we need to go into in terms of efficiency. But we also need to be able to underpin it through quality assurance. And so that's a new opportunity that will build on this new science. And the second one is extraordinarily important for the merino sector, and that is to look at the yearling merino product in terms of cuts-based eating quality. Because we know, everybody knows, that hogget can produce a beautiful product, provided it's well managed, well processed. And we understand also the importance of the genetics. So if you combine the genetics with the processing and get all of those components correct, quite a few cuts in the yearling merino will certainly grade up there with lamb, and others won't. But what we need to do is to understand with precision which way the cuts go in the grading system, so that we don't disappoint any customers and that we give maximum value to this production value chain through from genetics to the customer. So it's the MSA, where you started the question, underpins it all. And having MLA working with us on this is just fantastic. And it's all the sections within MLA. So they're excited about the genetic component, the production side of it, but on also the processing, the supply chain through to consumer. So we're really excited about this space.